When I was a boy, I thought that I was going to start life later. That being a boy was about some kind of, like one was...
dry run.
Dry run, yeah. Didn't count. It was all just hanging around. And then later, I kept saying to myself, at what point does it actually start? Is there a clear signal? I feel like a lot of people say at different points, not necessarily that, but they say, is this it? Mm-hmm. Is this it, or is it something? I feel particularly here, for example, there's a sense of a kind of promise that has not yet quite been fulfilled.
I mean, just this very moment?
No, not in this moment, no. No, I was thinking of this country.
Oh, this country,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. A land
this
of promise.
Country, yeah.
I have promises to keep and many miles to go before I sleep.
Yeah.
Time completely baffles me. I don't understand it at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I don't know how it is. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what I'm doing in it. Whether one can say that even. Have you, one of the subjects that sometimes I think I've spent an inordinate amount of time pondering upon is how I would feel if I'm compos mentis when it's happening.
What does that mean?
If my mind is intact, as it were, while it's happening, at the actual time when I take the last breath that I'm ever going to take in this body. There it is, one breathes, and then there isn't another breath. That's the last one. Would I be frightened? Would I be released from this veil of tears? Or life lose the illusion that there's any I at all and fade out into an ineffable voidness that's void of voidness, as they say. Will I confront the judge of the quick and the dead? What does that mean?
I think a lot of people do what I've done from time to time and still sometimes do, which is look for rules to live by, particular rules to go by. So that one has some sense of a particular landscape.
You mean the adoption of some, what is often referred to as some mental discipline or spiritual path?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Kashmir, I went along to see a Muslim saint in those parts who was reputed to be over 100 years old. He was a just like a bird, a very tiny little man with quick-moving, clear eyes. And, not like that. I mean, he wasn't sort of looking out in any sort of startled way, but his white beard and hair. And I didn't speak a word of English, but he had a couple of people translating for him, and he asked me why I'd come to see him, and I replied that I was seeking for the correct way to live. And his reply was, let your heart be pure like the sun. Love everything. That is the correct way to live. I don't know whether that one love everything.
Do you think that's something that he said to you, or that that's something he would say to anybody who asked him that?
I have no idea.
Because I was putting myself in your place and thinking that if he said that to me, an automatic resistance would come up and say, I can't.
Mm.
I can't love everything.
Mm.
And then...
And one might even go further and say, why should one?
Sometimes I feel deprived of not having a tradition that I can, without question, accept. That I can say, I accept that. I really accept that.
Were you brought up within a tradition? I mean, as...
well, a little bit, but I mean, I was brought up Jewish, and my tradition was that I was to love God no matter what happened. And if at any point I didn't love him, I was to simulate that I loved him. And that was the tradition in terms of God.
Who was God in those days?
God was the menacing force that punished all of us.
Did he forgive as well?
He didn't forgive. Sometimes he overlooked. He just was busy punishing elsewhere.
That's right.
He didn't pay any attention. But now his main function was was as a vindictive force.
What was he? What did he mainly punish people for not loving him or something?
Yeah. If you loved him enough, it was likely that your punishment would be less severe, or that you would care less about it. But
could he? Was he watching you all the time?
Yeah, except when he was distracted with other people or somebody else. Otherwise, he was
Did
watching.
you ever feel sorry for him, having to do all that?
But my sense of him was that he was inexhaustible.
Enjoying himself too much.
My sense of him was that he couldn't. I mean, that he was tireless. That he never stopped doing all these rotten things.
I was talking to a girl in a New York office this afternoon, and she asked me said you've been to the East and you've been to India, and what did you do there? And I said I did nothing. And she said, oh, I see that you don't want to answer that question, I'm sorry I asked. And I said, oh, actually I wasn't putting over anything on you, that as far as pretty well, that's the simplest and most honest answer. That took me a little